And life takes a lot out of us. There's a lot to do in this world. And you've got to figure out what you want. What is the reason you are here? If you haven't figured that one out, fucking work on that. Find a purpose, whether it's a religious or spiritual purpose, or you figure out that you don't need a fucking purpose, that there is no purpose for you, but figure some foundation out that keeps you alive and keeps you having a meaning to carry on. Hi, if you just give me 30 seconds of your time, I'll talk about this video, about what I do. And this is going to be a deep, thoughtful chat. And if you've got a bit of patience, you are really going to find this valuable. If you can just stick through it, you are really going to get something out of this. And this is going to be a long, deep chat that's unedited. And the value is in the words, not in the fast-paced edits that grab your attention. But yeah, enjoy. So, today we're going to talk about this statement that I read. I fear this world is too much for me. And the notice I made on this for the feelings that I think people have, and I think I've had. You know, everything's hard. I feel behind. I struggle to cope, to keep up with doing the right thing, with being disciplined. I struggle with relationships. I struggle knowing what's right. Life feels too overwhelming. Too much to do. It's hard. I think all those statements really do resonate with me, because life is fucking hard sometimes. It's hard because there's a lot going on, there's a lot involved, there's a lot of things you gotta do just to survive, just to stand still, not even progress. That's one of the hardest parts of life, is we're gonna put so much effort in just to stand still. Because of our brain and how it works, standing still most of the time isn't good enough, isn't alright. And that's difficult because you always feel like you've got to be doing something. And the issue with that is, if you always got to be doing something, you're almost not coping with life. If you can't just sit still, what's it all for? And I was once that person that extremely struggled with life. Any small amount of struggle really hurt me, really tested me, really made me have a battle in my head about what's going on in life, about who you need to be, how you need to act, what's right, what's wrong. You've always got to be right. You've got to be someone who's good. You've got to be able to cope in this world. You've got to be someone. There's this standard, this pressure that you have to adhere to. And it makes life so fucking hard. And I'm here to tell you how you can cope, how you can get along with life, because I did figure it out. I have figured it out. And it's fucking tremendous when you do figure out how you can live life. And the secrets that I'm going to tell you could change your life, could really, truly change your life if you just listen carefully enough. I think one of the major things in life, in this life, that you've got to realize that will make you cope better is that everything doesn't have to be perfect. You can aim for perfection, but accept that you're not going to get that perfection just yet. I think that's a massive factor. If you just accept that, you can keep on going forever. And it's not to say, because some people want perfection, it's not to say that you're not going to get perfection. It's just that you don't have perfection yet. And you're chasing that carrot on a stick. which to get things is valuable for something to be right under your nose, to just be right there. If that's what you want to do, if that's what you want to chase, if you want to be better, if you feel like you're not good enough, if you're not where you want to be, a carrot on a stick works. But you've got to minimize your downfall when you don't get it, when you haven't figured it out, because them times are going to come. Them times are always here. The times where you feel like you have no clue what you're doing, no matter what it is, even if you do, and all that feeling is you've just not done it enough. You've just not had enough experience with it. No matter what stage you're at, you've just not had enough experience with it. And that's the same when it comes to it feeling hard. It's not hard, you just don't know yet. I think that's one of the biggest things for me that I've figured out, that I've realized, is it's not personal. Success isn't personal. It's not like it's all on you. You're an idiot. You're stupid. You're not good enough. It's not that. You just don't know yet. And have a bit of hope. Have a bit of fucking faith in yourself that you will figure it out. The biggest issue is just the timeline you're looking at, the perspective you're working on. And the biggest thing is, life, unfortunately, is always gonna feel hard. Because as humans, we always want more. We've always got this thing that we're chasing. We've always got this thing that's on our mind, that we're aiming for. And if we don't have it, we convince ourselves it's a problem. And that's why we're always going to have struggle. We're always going to have difficult times, because you're always striving for more. And it's okay to strive for more if that's what you want to do. If you don't want to strive for more, I've talked about it in other videos, but it's sort of human. I don't necessarily feel like you're going to get away from that. You can't run from struggle. Struggle's always going to be there. And therefore, to cope with this world and this life, you've got to realize that. You've got to figure out what's best for you. And for me, the biggest thing I learned is that you need to share what's on your mind. You need to tell people around you the struggle you're going through. And just get it off your chest. That's the biggest secret I've learned in coping with struggle, is just talk about the fucking struggle. Why are we all walking around here acting like there is no struggle when we're all fucking struggling? If we all chat about it, we all get it off our chest, we can think through it. And it's not that this person is going to solve it for me, it's that you're going to think through it more. And life takes a lot out of us. There's a lot to do in this world, and you've got to figure out what you want. What is the reason you are here? If you haven't figured that one out, fucking work on that. Find a purpose, whether it's a religious or spiritual purpose, or you figure out that you don't need a fucking purpose, that there is no purpose for you, but figure some foundation out that keeps you alive and keeps you having a meaning to carry on. And it's going to take fucking years to figure that out. And that's why you've got to talk about it. That's why you've got to talk through it. Because you're not going to figure it out on your own. You can't do this alone. This world is not to be done by one person. It is a collective thing that we have to do. You have to find your people. And I've done videos on how to find your people. And I'll do more on how you find your people. But you've got to. Otherwise, it's too difficult to do it on your own. Life is gonna get too much. I think all those statements I said at the start, I think once I accepted that they're just gonna happen, that is normal, that it's always gonna be like that, I took a breath. I said, right, okay, we've accepted it. It feels a bit too much that that's gonna be how it is all the time. But once I've accepted it, I can start working on figuring out how I make the most of this life, how I get through it, what healthy tools and healthy ways work for me. And the more that there's a conversation and a discussion on this, the more we all figure out how we do this the best way for us. And that's what I do. That's why I do the videos that I do, because it's about talking through the thoughts and figuring out the valuable shit in life. The best parts about life, the things that work, and when you find something that worked, fucking hold on to it, note it down, store it, use it, share it. Because those are the most valuable things, because life is too much. And the reason, right, is it's meant to be too much. Because we're alive. That's the valuable thing. That's my foundation. I'm fucking alive. Anything is better than death. And I'm not talking physical human death. I'm talking soul death. I'm talking non-existence death. Existing, being alive, is better than not existing, because not existing has nothing. It doesn't have good. It doesn't have bad. There's absolutely nothing involved in it. You don't have emotions. You don't have feelings, opinions about anything. It is just nothing. You don't have a chance at joy. You don't have hope. You don't have faith. You have zero chance at any emotion. So life has its ups, has its downs, has its struggles, has those difficult moments to make you feel the joy more. It's a counterweight. You can't have the good without the bad. The bad times make you appreciate the good times. And if you this is what I would do. I'd just be too focused, too scared about the bad times coming back. And I would numb the bad times to get through it. But it numbed the good times. That's what you're probably doing. If you feel like in life that you're not enjoying it, you're not having any joy, any excitement, any love for this life, you're probably numbing it. You're numbing the bad, which means you numb the good. Because the worse the bad feels, the better the good feels. I mean, everyone knows it, but doesn't realize it. When you're ill, when you have an ailment, when you have an injury, when you're restricted in some sort of way, you can't wait to get back to normal. But the majority of your life, you live not ill. If you get a cold, a flu, you can't wait for that week to be over. The only issue is, the first week you get better, you fall back into line of what is the norm, of what you are used to. We can use that bad situation of getting ill to say, oh, I appreciate and I'm grateful for when I'm not ill. And that's how we've got to treat the bad. We've got to treat the bad things that happen as moments to bring us closer, to teach us, to learn, to appreciate what we once had. They're the lessons. They're the moments that shock us into kicking us back into reality and saying, God, what good times did we have? And looking forward and knowing that the good times will come back, that they're not gone forever. Having a bit of hope and a bit of faith that they will return, because you've always had experiences in life where you think it's the end, where you think you're not going to get something back, where you think nothing can beat this feeling, and yet it does, and it always will, because you'll reset. Like I said, you'll go back to your norm, you'll go back to forgetting the things you have in life. And if you understand that and you realize these things, you realize that you can live life. You can take the ups, the downs. They're going to hurt. I'm not saying they're not going to hurt. I'm not saying that the struggle isn't going to be bad. When someone dies, I'm not saying the way to cope is that it's not going to be hard. When someone dies, it's going to fucking hurt, and it's meant to hurt. Because we take for granted our life. We take for granted what it feels like to be alive. Take for granted the time that we have with people. When you have something in abundance, you forget about it. You forget that you do have it in abundance. And you've got to find those ways of coping. And the thing, what we don't do when it comes to sharing our struggle, when we pretend that we're not under any stress, we're not under any struggle, we're not going through anything, we don't want to talk about it. When we pretend all that stuff, we're just restricting ourselves, because someone else has been through something that one day you're going to go through. You've been through something that one day someone else is going to go through. And if we don't fucking share these things, we don't learn. We suffer more. We don't understand things, and that to me is the purpose of what I do and why I share and why I talk about the deep things in life. But yeah, peace.